Welcome to the channel. In my last build, I made this 1959 rollback wrecker. I'm sending this out to my buddy Randy Brinkley, also known as Brinkzilla20. He's sending me a custom in return, and we don't know what each other's making, so it's going to be a surprise. You can go back and watch that video anytime if you want. I also did this one recently, the 1965 Ford shop truck. That video is also playing now. And today I want to work on this 1955 Chevy Bel Air by MaiSto. Let's get it cracked open and see what we can do. It has a really nice paint finish. Not the best wheels in the world. And I don't think it has an interior. Let's get it cracked open and see what we're working with. Wheels just fall right out. Not hooked in any way. Bumper's not hooked in any way. This one here is hooked in a little better than the back. I guess it goes through. Looks like it goes through the front bumper. I guess there's no reason to really take it off, but I do want to remove this. There we go. Yeah, this is the only metal on the whole vehicle, not counting the front bumper and grille. And the window section is just one piece. Interesting. I was hoping to put an interior and windows in here. I have some Hot Wheels glass from another 55 Chevy. I was wondering if I could make that work inside here. I can't tell at the moment because the wheel support's in the way. I'd have to trim this a little bit. Let me study on it. Maybe I can cut the windows out or fit this in there. I'll have to look at it. Alright, after studying the window situation, there's no possible way that this would fit in there unless you was to trim it or something. It's way too long. I got the front section to go down in here. That's a possibility. It's a little too tall, but the back section is really long for the vehicle. So, I don't know. I might abandon that whole idea. The more I'm looking at this, I keep thinking, do we need this at all? And I'm liking the way this is looking. Kind of reminds me of a tow truck or something, the way the back is. Maybe we can convert this into something totally different. Let me think about it for a while and see what kind of spare parts I have. Okay, this build has taken a turn in a direction that I never expected. I just wanted to do a simple paint job on this. And I guess I still could, but I just don't like that it doesn't have real windows. I've thought about a bunch of options. If I'm gonna make this extremely customized, I'm thinking the roof off of this Chevy truck would fit on here nice. Then I'm also thinking if I'm gonna go through all that trouble, I could just turn this into a tow truck. But it wouldn't look, I don't know, 55 Chevy tow truck would be kind of neat. I don't know, I'll have to study on it, but I'm considering taking the roof off of this and grafting it onto the 55 Chevy. Strong possibility. I think that it would probably work. I have this part here that goes with it. That would be the wall for the back of the bed. Yeah. Like I say, I just wasn't planning on doing such a complicated build. I'll think the interior section from the truck actually fits in here rather nicely, so that's one encouraging find. I guess I'm going to go ahead and tape this off and start making the cuts to remove the roof. I'll do that next. Another option that I have explored is taking this van cab roof and putting on here instead. I don't know. I think that would look kind of interesting too, especially how the back is full. Get a little bit of an idea like this. I'm not sure. I'll have to study on it. One of those two might work. Here it is with the van windshield. Actually doesn't look bad. It kind of looks like a truck, being extra tall. We'll see. I think maybe I'm going to go ahead and cut this roof off first and see how it looks, and if I don't like it, I'll chop this one. This has a nice defining line right there that goes around the front and sides. I think that's where I'm going to cut it. Try to keep the saw right in that line. Alright, I got the passenger side and driver side cut through. Just got to get the front next. Alright, we have that piece. Well, I think I went to all that trouble for nothing. I don't really like it now that I see it on here. It just doesn't look right. But maybe I can make something else out of it. I just had another idea. This would be a whole other build, but I'm thinking move that to the back. I'm thinking if I put that on the back of the van, that would be awesome. Put some big fat slick tires, jack it up, put a couple engines in the front. This still might be a potential build, so I guess it wasn't a complete waste of time. I'll save these parts, but I want to get back on the 55 Chevy. And I didn't really want to cut up this Chevy truck, but in the name of science, I guess I'm going to have to. I'm going to cut it across the front here, and then along the two sides, and cut the back off. And try to just isolate the very top, even where this windshield ring is at the bottom. It's going to be tricky. But that's what I'm going to attempt to do, is do that next. I'll start by cutting the back off. Get to this other side. Alright, now we have an extra truck bed for another project. I don't know if it's going to work the way I want to, but I'm going to keep on cutting. Alright, I got some more cutting done. I think I can just take that off. There we go. Alright, now if I can cut the doors off and keep this little edge at the bottom, like I have around the front windshield, I'm still going to have to make it flatter. That's what I'm trying to do though. I'm going to cut it right around here if I can on each side. Do that next. Alright, I started making the cut. So far it's working the way I wanted. We'll see how it goes. Keep on going. Alright, so far so good. One more side to go. Alright, I think I got the piece that I need. Let's see how it's going to fit. I'm going to clean this mess up. There's still going to be some sanding to do, I'm sure, but I want to get these fine burrs out next. Now let's see if this is a more possible combination than what I was trying before. Yeah, it's not too tall. It's kind of wide. Oh boy, I don't know. I might still be able to make it work. It's really close on how wide it is. It might work though. I'm going to have to sand on it a little bit. Maybe make it rounded. We'll see. I'll study on it. If this does work out, it's going to take sanding on both vehicles, but I'm going to sand as much as I can on this green cab first. I'll let you know how the progress goes as I make some. Okay, I got the Chevrolet sanded down enough to accept this new roof, I do think. It looks pretty good when I piece them together. I'm content with that. I got the windows sanded down to match. Unfortunately, I scratched the hood with a file, but we're going to distress the paint finish anyway, so I guess that won't matter. The next thing I want to do is probably attach the roof, I think. Maybe I'll paint it first and then attach it. I guess I'll paint it first. I'm going to paint it white and then glue it on here. When I come back, I'll have all the coats done. Okay, I found another interior. Same Chevy truck. It's just not chrome. I think I'd rather sand on this one than the chrome. I don't know why. It isn't going to make much of a difference. They're both going to make a mess either way, but the chrome, who knows what kind of chemicals are in that chrome. I'm going to just sand on this black one and it'll be easier to paint as well. I'm going to cut this front section off just like the other one was. Just going to use this. Okay, that should fit in there. It actually fits in here a little bit easier since it's not covered in chrome. It must be a little bit thinner, so that's another good reason to switch to this black one. Alright, there's a big gap back here. I'm going to fill that in with this matchstick, large kitchen matches. And I think I'm going to build a base around the sides, 3 pieces, and then cap that off with a piece of this once I put the matchsticks down. And then I think I want to place this on top of the diamond plate once that's all built. And then we'll figure out, I'll probably chop this off and put just a centerpiece coming out, like a center hydraulic. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting pieces, and we'll see where it goes from there. Well, here's how it's looking so far. Now I'm not sure. I think the toe rig's up too high. I'll have to study on it. Maybe I'll eliminate the pieces of wood and just put the diamond plate straight on the body. That makes it more like this. Which actually looks better in height, so I might have to eliminate the wood. That seemed to work out a lot better, putting the smaller matchsticks on top instead of the large ones on the bottom. And then when I put it together, it all looks more to scale. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with that. I had to add some more matchsticks and a piece of poster board to this back section here. So when I put this together and I put the roof on, when I was putting it on before, there was a gap under the back window. When I place it now, that takes up the gap. As you can see from this angle, once I attach the roof, I shouldn't have a gap under the back window now. I'm just waiting for stuff to dry, and then I'm going to paint this black part of the bed white. I want to use the factory bumper, but when I put it on here, it's got some weird gaps without the original part of the car. So I cut this piece of wood earlier to fill in that gap. I think I can just chop this ring off and this will all fit together. So I'm going to cut the bumper next and assemble those pieces. Well, I finally reached the point where I think I'm going to glue this roof on. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't. I'm going to put a bead of super glue around here and stick it into place. And hopefully I can fill all the gaps in with super glue. If not, I'll use epoxy or something, but we'll see how it goes. I'll get it lined up right where I want it and just let it dry for now. At first glance, it's not looking too bad. Little spot up there around the windshield, but I am going to weather the paint a little bit, so hopefully it just blends in. We'll see how it goes. I'll glue it again on the inside after it's dry, because, you know, that's the only thing that's going to be holding it for now. Since I'm waiting on parts to dry, we'll go ahead and paint the interior. I think it will look good with a reddish brown, like a leather. Put a little bit of red in this. That's way too much. Get that mixed up. Let's see what we get. I put way too much red in there. Put some more brown. Alright, I guess we're going to settle on this one for our brown. If not, I can change it. Put a few coats of this on there and see. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start weathering the roof. I'm going to put some rust on this vehicle, at least some surface rust on the roof. I'm going to start by putting a generous wash of Tuscan Red on top. Maybe a little bit more. And some on the top of the edges here. And around this edge of the windshield. Okay, we'll let that dry. All right, the first wash on the roof is dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more. This is the second color I like to use, which is just a lighter brown, and I want to go around the edges with that. Everything is looking good with the roof graft, I guess you could call it. I'm going to add some more weathering to the body. I'm almost finished with the roof. Still trying to figure out the wheel situation though. I don't really like those plastic wheels so much. I'm digging the ones here I got on this Ford Raptor. I like how those look. And I also have these as an option if I wanted to keep big tires. I don't know. I guess I'll crack both of these open and get these wheels out and roll them around and see what I think. Alright, the more I examine this, I don't like this piece sticking down here. I kind of thought maybe I would leave it, make it a step or something, but it's just complicating the whole build. And I might shave a little bit of this interior down. You see, I don't want to see anything across here, I don't think. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down next. Here. I messed around with a bunch of different wheels. I think I'm going to go with these rubber ones. They're Hot Wheels, Real Riders. So I'm going to paint these rims white and then I'll figure out a way to get them installed. Okay, I have the white wheels like I wanted. I've been experimenting with this piece of tape measure. I think I saw this on CDC Customs. He did something like this for suspension on some of his vehicles. I would like to figure out a way to do it. I'm struggling with it because this is the first time I've tried it, but I kind of see how it might work. If I could attach that in the center and then put an axle on each side, it would give me the suspension that I want. I'll have to study on it. I'm still trying to figure it out. In theory, it should work because, I mean, look at that. It's bouncing around without any wheels. It definitely looks like it has suspension. I still don't know if I want something that's so tall. I mean, for a tow truck, it seems like it's awful high off the ground. That's my only concern. I could put smaller wheels on it and try to keep the suspension. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but I think I've just about got this part solved. That would work and make suspension. I just replace all this tape with glue and epoxy. I'll have to study on it. Maybe I'll do another mock-up with smaller wheels, or just make it a pickup truck instead of a tow truck. I don't know. It'd be awful tall for a tow truck, it seems like. Well, I changed my mind. I'm just gonna mount these wheels on here. I didn't like the suspension. It's set way too high. It just isn't gonna work for this vehicle. Maybe I can figure it out on another one. But I'm gonna go ahead and glue these wheels into place and then move on. Since it doesn't have a chassis, I have been struggling the whole time. I'm gonna put these pieces of wood in here. Once I glue those down, I'll be able to glue these wheels right on top of the wood and be done with it. As soon as the wheels are dry, I'm going to attach the bed and then finish the painting. Now that the wheels are dry, I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece into place. And then we'll move on to the tow boom. I'll let this dry. The pieces to the tow boom are not rigid, so I'm going to attach this matchstick in here and glue this onto the matchstick, something like this. I sanded this round to fit on the winch. All I gotta do is glue that in place and cut it off, and that'll give us something rigid that actually will support a car. So I'm gonna glue this piece on here next. I took a razor knife and a little file, and I carved that so it looks like the boom would extend. Next, I'm going to take this fine wire that I have, this metal wire, and I'm going to go from here, one on each side, and then come down and put a hook on it. And then glue this piece up here, and I still have to paint the boom. I guess I'll paint the boom white next, and then I'll put these wires on, and then I'll attach it. So I'm going to get that painted next. I think I might take a file and put a little groove right here for the wires to rest in before I do. So I'll do that real quick and then paint it. Alright, I filed a little groove in there that should hold the wire. Now I'll paint it. Alright, you might be able to see, but I hooked the wire up to the winch. I put a hole through there, it comes around and goes to the little groove I made. I started the second one. I just got to tie it in there, extend it, wire them both together, and put my hook on. It's coming along good. Put that like that. I'll get that wrapped around there, and we'll have it. Alright, I'll put another coat of white on the boom and add the hook, and then we can put it in the back of the truck. Alright, there it is with the hook installed. Just need to add some paint, and I think that's about it. I got it set up to where I can still adjust the hook if I wanted to. I'll just unwrap that wire. And I think that's going to serve the purpose. I'm going to paint this white one more time and then glue it in. Alright, I got that glued up. I'm going to install it on the truck. I'll get it lined up right where I want it, and I'll just let it dry. Alright, I need to add just a little bit of rust on the roof. All the touching it, I've wore some of the paint off messing with it. So I'm going to just go around this edge again. Let that part dry, and now I want to add a little bit of rust to the back of the truck as well. I'm going to make the diamond plate rusty. I think the boom might have a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but I do want it to have a little on the corners. Alright, maybe a little bit on the sides. Alright, I got a little bit on the side there. I'm going to let that dry, and we'll add some other details next. I added a tow sling on the back to protect the bumper of the tow rig and whatever vehicle it would be towing. You can see the little wires that are holding it attached to the boom. It's flexible to move around. That wire is pretty stiff though, it holds it right in place. So now we have that little feature. The extra wash I did on the roof is dry. The wash on the back is dry. I'm going to darken up the rust, especially on the diamond plate. And then I guess I'll do that now. I'll darken up the rust, put another coat. I'm going to switch to another color to darken up the diamond plate. This is a Tuscan red mix that I have. It's a custom blend. It's got a little bit of orange in it, got some brown, got some red. Maybe put a little bit more on this here and there. I'm still waiting on the diamond plate to dry. It's almost there. I found a little amber light that came off of a fire truck. Now I'm going to mount that right here on top of the towing unit. And I also have some lights that are on this roll bar. As you can see, some are already broken off. So since it's already broken, I'm going to cut 2 of those off and add them on each side of that amber light. Just take a razor knife, chop them off, and glue them on there next. Alright, I got the amber light installed and the 2 backup lights on top there. I'm going to go ahead and get the darkest color out for the rust, which is burnt umber, and do one more final wash on the diamond plate and maybe a few spots on the edges of the bed. Next, I'm going to put a gray wash on the hood and some of the edges. Now we'll just let that dry. I'll put a little bit more on the hood. Alright, now I'm going to let that dry. Alright, I don't know if it's going to work, but there's some running boards on this 56 Ford chassis. I'm going to slice those off and see if I can incorporate them into the build. Alright, at first glance, I'm placing it in here. I don't mind how it looks. I think I'll paint them black and glue one on each side right there. It would be nice if you were trying to reach into the back of your tow truck for supplies. It would be cool to have a little step right there and to get in. I don't mind these, but I also have this as an option. I could cut some diamond plate and make it longer so it covers the whole side of the truck. Yeah, I think it would be better if it went from the door to the back wheel. Those other ones aren't long enough to do that. I'm going to cut one out of this and see what it looks like. Alright, I scored that with the razor knife and the straight edge. I'm just going to snap it off. I'm going to trim it to be like this one, and then I'll have 2 of the same. Alright, I'm going to cut a matchstick to also attach to this on the side. That's just like that. And then I'll glue this piece on here right where I want it. Alright, we have running boards. Now I can finish the paint job. Next, I'm going to give the rims, the diamond plate running boards, the front grille, and the gray areas. I'm going to put some black over those as well, and around the lines of the doors. So I'm going to start working on that now. I think I'll start with the doors. let that dry. Alright, I added the door handle, and I'm still waiting on the black to dry a little bit on the side. I'm going to go ahead and put some black on the hood now. All the patina work is finished. This is the first time I've tried this look. I'm trying something new. I think it's good and dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put a clear coat over this, a satin finish, and that'll give us our final look. And our clear sealant today is a Minwax satin finish that should be in a spray bottle, but the spray bottle quit spraying, so I poured it in here to keep from wasting it. So we're going to apply it with a brush today. I'll probably put 2 coats on. I have put as many as 3 coats before, but I think 2 is plenty. You definitely want to do more than 1. And then when I come back, we'll get the final footage over at the Junkyard Diorama. Here it is, driving into the yard. Pulling a custom Chevy Chevelle that I made in one of my videos a while back. I went ahead and I painted in some round dots on the back for tail lights, as you can see there. I also put some orange paint over the turning lights up front. Just did that. My homemade tow hook out of a nail seems to be working pretty good. I didn't know for sure, but I'm not having any issues yet. Well, I think this sums up our 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air converted into a truck. Not only a truck, but a tow wrecker. This has a 1962 Chevy Apache pickup truck roof, 1955 Chevy Bel Air body, and a green light towing apparatus that I added to the back with some custom details. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel, hit that hype button. That seems to make a big difference. And you can also visit my eBay store. And if you think you know somebody else that might enjoy the build, please share it with them as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And I look forward to sharing my next project with you soon. Thanks again.
Well, hello everybody. That was a fun ride, wasn't it?